Good evening, esteemed Dr. Ibtissam Haddaji, respected professors, researchers, colleagues, and honored followers. First and foremost, I extend our deepest gratitude to Dr. Haddaji for honoring us with her presence this evening, despite her many personal, academic, and professional commitments. I would like also to express our appreciation to Dr. Marwan Sakran, the director of the Academy from Turkey, Dr. Safiya Qissas, the vice director, Dr. Abdelkader Bentouati, the president of the Linguistics Research and Language Planning team from Algeria, and Professor Yassine Jamal Idrisi, the executive director of the Academy from Morocco, for their outstanding contributions and collaboration in making this event possible. Thanks also to the new member of the Academy, Professor Abdelfatah Abidi, for documenting this discussion as our rapporteur. This evening, we'll discuss the Moroccan culture that has thrived at the crossroads of civilizations, a culture composed of Amazigh, Arab, Jewish, Spanish, French, or colonial creeds, enriched by centuries of dialogue and shared humanity. This is not merely a lecture about history, it is an invitation to witness how memory, faith, and tradition can shape a more inclusive future. We are privileged to host Dr. Ibtissam Haddaji, a scholar whose work embodies this vision, with doctorate from uh, Qadi Ayad's University in Marrakesh on the cult of Jewish saints and religious tourism. Dr. Haddaji has participated in national and international conferences. She has several published articles related to various research that examines hidden parallels between Jewish and Muslim rituals and intercultural dialogue. As we explore tonight's themes, we ask, how can heritage be both a mirror of the past and a compass for the future? Dr. Haddaji, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Professor Hmad. I'm so happy to be with you, and thank you for
Welcome.
your invitation. Thank you for the audience with online with us this evening, and I'm so happy to make my presentation for the first time with Beit Lisaniyat International Academy. I hope that we will work together in the future if God willing. Um, so my presentation, it will be about introduction to Moroccan Jewish culture. And the plan is as follows. First, the issue between presence and memory, Moroccan Jewish language, Moroccan Jewish literature, Moroccan Jewish religious practices, Moroccan Jewish handicraft and visual art, and the end, Moroccan Jewish music and cuisine. Okay, in general, about the history of Jewish presence in Morocco dates back to antiquity, probably to the third of the century BC. The first book of Kings mentions Solomon's ship with which his servants set out an expedition to the land of Ophir and brought back 420 kikars of gold based on this text and on certain oral traditions, which period especially among the Jews in the southern Morocco. We can place the first Jewish settlement in Morocco at the time of King Solomon. So the dance tale of the band of the Dara and Tidri, which is still considered today to have been the first settlement of the Jews on the Dara. So the first historical source mentioned in Jewish Berber tribes dates from the 14th century. In this history of the Berbers is Ibn Khaldun, stated that's the part of the Berbers process Judaism as a religion. They had received from their neighbors from the Israelites of Syria, and he gave names of the Judaized Berbers tribes that were established from the east of the west of the Maghreb. So he said, among of the Jewish Berbers, we distinguished the Jorwa, a tribe to which belonged Kahina, a woman who was killed by the Arab conquerors. And the Jewish Berber tribes were the Nefusa of Africa, the Fandaloa, Midyuna, Balwata, Liata of Maghreb al-Aqsa. Also, another thing is about also the history of the Jews, Moroccan Jews. Many Moroccan Jews of them are descendants of Sephardic Jews, who were expelled from Spain in 1492 after the Alhambra decree. A significant number of Sephardic Jews migrated to the Maghreb, including Morocco, seeking refuge. So these Jewish communities in northern Morocco, particularly in cities like Tétouan, Tanger, Larache, etc., including their own language, Haketía, and dialect of Spanish in the 15th century, under pressure from the Almohad Jewish communities, were migrated into reserved districts called the Mallah, as the first one in Fez in 1438. The presentation of the immigration of the Jews from Morocco is far from being the same for all the researchers. Why? Because on the one hand, Jewish-Muslim relations are seen throughout a lens of perpetual conflicts between monolithical and hostile majority and relationship, a kind of social harmony and cultural symbiosis. Today, Morocco presents for the Jews a place marked by the pangs of departure and by the desire to return. Today, Morocco also is home to the largest Jewish community in the Arab world. 3,000 and approximately 1 million Jews of Moroccan origin live in Israel, occupying central position on the political scene. Another point also is about the time of Sultan Muhammad V. There has been a special relationship between these communities. They were threatened by the Vichy laws that were beginning to take root in Morocco and worried in population, protected by the late King Mohammed V, who refused to sign the decrees on the wearing of the Jewish star, saying that if anyone had to wear one, would to him first, I don't have a Jewish and Moroccan citizen here. I have Moroccan who are all my subjects. Also, the late King Hassan II, who said, I'm a man of principles, but not a man of possessions. He actively participated in the Middle East peace process with a bold and resolute personality. He worked for rapprochement between Israel and Arab leaders throughout his active diplomacy, especially between Palestine and Israel. Conflict. So when we talk about Moroccan Jewish religious practices, we can talk or read the role by the synagogues and the religious rites or rites like circumcisions or Brit Milah in Hebrew, Tefillin, marriage, mourning rites, as well as religious holidays celebrated within the family, and were an means to crucible for a fusion between Jewish worship and Moroccan culture. For example, about the costumes, according to Jean Besancenot in his book Costumes of Morocco, he said the Jewish population was integrated in Morocco life in various forms and in all places with the specific characteristics. In the cities, traditional and European clothes coexist within the Jewish community. The women's attire, mainly the mallah, consists of the bata or camisole, the saya, and we say in Arabic, long gattis skirt, often with ruffs, and the pignoella or wool shawl. So girls, most of them wear European-made dresses, generally in bright colors, as we see in the pictures. Worn by all Muslim women of the cities is approximately the same, and the tradition is preserved of the wedding costume, especially with kaswa al-kibira, or calling in Judeo-Arabic language, and the Jewish bride's kaftan also. It's worn by the bride and her parents during wedding ceremonies. It's roughly the same all of the cities of Morocco. The Kiswa Kibira is made entirely of velvet, generally green or blue for inward cities, and the granite red for Plouza and southern cities. Based on the assumptions that they have many household deities. In all congregations, at least 10 Moroccan Jewish men participate in communal prayers in the Kabira morning, afternoon, and evening. So rabbis do not require women to attend the prayers morning and evening. The afternoon and evening prayers are usually combined. Men over 40 years old are likely to read and pray fluently in Hebrew. The synagogues are full on Jewish holidays. Prayers are performed using the Sephardic tradition, which is used at a different order of prayers than Ashkenazi Orthodox prayer book and employs different methods and melodies for the prayers. Many of the melodies come from Andalusian music, the popular Moroccan music that was wrote in 15th century Muslim Spain. A rabbi coordinates a prayer by members on the congregation. The services are entirely in Hebrew, so ceremonies are rarely ever delivered. And many of 10 men is required to begin the meet with the prayer showers, all of prayer services. So for the weekday prayers, they also wear tefillin. What's the tefillin is a leather box containing Torah verses and the leather straps to mount the box on the forehead and warp around an arm and hand. Each day, those Jews, descends from the prophet Aaron, Kohanim, recite the prayerfully blessing for the congregation. Here's a far about the prayer. So the popular veneration of saints has played a major role in the lives of many Jews in Morocco and constitute the fundamental element of their collective identity. In this form, style, and prevalence, the cultural phenomenon clearly bears on the characteristics of indigenous Maraboutism, probably the most striking aspect of Moroccan Islam. And this phenomenon is also reinforced by concepts of tzaddik, deeply rooted in the classical Jewish sources, primarily Talmudic and Midrashic, and particularly by its mystical elaboration in Kabbalah, especially. So the convergence of these two systems has created a particularly vibrant popular religious tradition. So Jewish saints are commonly prodated charismatic rabbi, distinguished by their erudition and mystical piety and possession of particular spiritual force, similar to Moroccan Muslim baraka or bracha in Hebrew, like in Hilula. Hilula, like in this picture, we say Hilula of Rabbi Amran ben Diwan in Wazan city. It's a religious event celebrated by the Moroccan Jewish community every year. So another element also Spanish, Ladino, and the Hebrew, dependent of the region and the community. So Judeo-Berber was spoken by Berber Jewish communities, while Judeo-Spanish, also known as Ladino, was prevalent in urban areas like the Juderia. So Hebrew was used for religious purposes and time legal settings. For example, for the Jewish or Judeo-Spanish, Ladino, it was a scientific language from Jewish communities in Morocco until the 19th century, with reports of over 170 homes and 16 active synagogues in the Zetouan Juderia. Hebrew was the language of religious texts and rituals, as well as other languages like Aramaic. During French colonizations, Jews were especially required to use Hebrew in religious courses or Bitatin. For Judeo-Arab, it's a language that developed from Moroccan Arabic, but was influenced by Hebrew and Aramaic too. The scarred languages of Judaism over time is create its own phonetic morphological and lexical particulars which distinct this from general Morocco or Arabic. Moroccan Jewish literature. So Moroccan piyutim Shira Bachashot, as we say it in Hebrew, carry on a poetic tradition over 2,000 years old and began in Palestine. Andalusian classical music developed in 9th and 15th century Spain, sometimes accompanies their representation. So their poetic structure replicates that used by Arabic and Judeo-Spanish piyutim writing in Muslim Spain. While they were mainly in Hebrew, they also used Aramaic, Judeo-Arabic, Haketía, and Judeo-Tamazight also. They focused on biblical, Talmudic, and Kabbalistic themes. So, as well as uses of daily life, coexistence, exile, and redemption, many authors of Moroccan piyutims are regarded as Jewish saints. As we can see in these illustrations or manuscripts, piyutims and prayer for Pesach in Morocco in the 19th century. All Moroccan synagogues give this poetry pride of place on the liturgy of Islam days and family ceremonies. Some its compositions had gained currency on the Sephardic world of both East and West. We will only mention the record an apologetic poem glorifying the holy city of Tiberia. This text is from Haim Zafrani book, and another dedicated for the Prophet Elia, usually inserted into the Saturday evening liturgy, and in the Brit Milah ceremonies. These two pieces, composed by David Hassin, were, like many others, disseminated throughout the Sephardic world by emissary rabbi and questions who visit Morocco, and are reproduced in many poetry anthologies and rituals of Eastern communities. Another point also is a prior to independence about the literature of Jewish or Moroccan Jewish literature. It's prior to independence. Some Jews contribute articles and letters to Moroccan Francophone newspapers, such as the pro-Alliance Israélite Universelle paper, calling in French L'Union Marocaine, and the pro-Zionist prior L'Avenir Illustré. Other Jewish writers as Leon Sultan, a Communist Party leader who contributes articles on the Clary Party weekly journal, were leftists committed to the independence movement. So the Vichy regime closed down these papers during World War II, and they never were published again. Some Moroccan Jewish leaders and academics such as Jacques Dahan, Robert Sarraf, and Simon Levy published memoirs and commentaries on the role of the Jewish community in the 1980 and 1990. It was Moroccan Jewish immigrants who wrote much more about the Jewish community of Morocco. However, leftist exiles in French, such as Abraham Serfati and Edmond Amar al-Maleh, wrote fictions, memoirs, and analysis of the role of Jewish in Morocco society and political system. Moroccan French Daniel Siboni and Marcel Benabou, and Moroccan North American Jewish also academics such as Canadian David Bensoussan and American Rod Knafo, Sonrat historians or histories of Moroccan Jewish culture, memories, and fiction too. Historians such as Joseph Toledano, Shlomo Deshe, Michel Abitbol, and Issachar Benami have examined different aspects of Moroccan Jewish life and experiences for sociological and anthropological and historical perspectives. So Moroccan-born Israeli writers also of fiction include Gabriel Ben Soussan, Haim Shekhan, Ami Ben Bouganin, Shlomo Elbaz, and Yujal Hazan. Much of Israeli fiction from Morocco Jews reflect of the multiple identities of the authors, including Israeli, Moroccan, French, Spanish, Jew, Arab, and Amazigh, as well as the culture of the region they came from in Morocco. It's about the literature. So Moroccan Jewish secular music being together Andalusian Malhoun and cabaret music from the 1950s, 16 songs in the Judeo-Arabic or French. Some of the major musicians include Hayem Boutbol, Sami Maghribi, Albert Suissa, Sheikh Mouijou, Raymond Bedawiya, and others. Moroccan Jewish secular musicians in the 21st century, whether they live inside, outside of Morocco, preserve and go beyond the music in their 20th century predecessors. Here are some musicians that continue to play in Morocco right now. And Morocco is known for Hebrew and Judeo-Arabic liturgical music, including psalms, bashachot, and the Piyutim, poems sent as the Jewish life cycle events, holidays, and camp of Jewish saints. And Habachashot and the Piyutim are fluted by the mystical religious tradition of Kabbalah and have been sang as the Sephardic Moroccan men for centuries on Shabbat before dawn. So they are performed either a Kabbalah or Andalusian orchestras in general. Here is one Piyut sung by Jacob Wisman, who studied with the great Moroccan Jewish authors of Bachashot and the Piyutim, especially David Buzaglo. Also, another thing is about Moroccan Jewish cuisine or kasher and norms with the cuisine of each of the region where Moroccan Jews live. Each local cuisine style in Morocco is unique, based on the people and the cultures they had lived over the centuries. So Moroccan Jewish cuisine makes use of the country's abundant fruits and vegetable, muttons and lamb, almonds, olives, and argan oil, olive oil also. It's frankly used spices such as kuman, ras al-hanout, as we say in Judeo-Arab or Judeo-Moroccan language, ginger, saffron, paprika, etc. So meat dishes are often cooked with the fruit. Moroccan Jews, like with the Muslim counterparts, enjoy eating organ meats, so variation of the national dish, couscous, as served with vegetables, fruits, and pastries filled with almonds, pastes complete the meal. And Moroccan Jewish food is strictly kosher, as I said, almost no mixing of milk and meat products instead of better if you use it all. So practically olive oil, no shellfish such as crabs or shrimp and the pork are ever served. For Shabbat, for example, when they do not light fire, they prepare a stew called schina or dafina, which they cook. It's very low heat from Friday until Saturday at noon. Each cook has their own recipe. So, but typically schina includes meats, potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, chickpeas, and eggs. It can be completed with savory or sweet stuffing and shikipia sauce. So the Shabbat lunch begins with the wine and homemade bread, over which a prayer inside. So Moroccan Jews sometimes complete the meal with the mahia, very strong eau de vie, as we say it in French language, made from figs, dates, or grapes. For Hanukkah, the special food is beignet, or sponge or donuts. Another point also is about Moroccan Jews played a major role, if not the only one, in the production of gold, silver, copper, and coral, animal skin, and textile handicraft until the 18th century. Muslims considered many of these occupations dirty of a low status. So Jews took on this job. So handicraft production jobs also enabled Jews to participate in the purchasing of raw materials and selling of finished products. So during the era of the sub-Saharan caravan trade, Moroccan Jews living in the desert towns south on the Atlas Mountains and received the gold production in Ghana and produced handicrafts that were exported both across the Sahara and into Europe via the ports of Agadir and the Sawira or Mogador. So Jewish metal works produces amirs and the charms for both Muslims and Jews. So based of the Kabbalah and the other mystical religious source. So here in this picture, we can see jewelry in gold and precious stones were worn by Moroccan Jewish women, became by Michel Scholman. The most remarkable pieces, as we can see here, for example, Horus or Amala, in addition to this venery and necklace with the bird meditation, Serdoch, as we say in Hebrew, with the gold attentional light shoulder veil, we also were also worn. So these pieces could be replaced by other types of necklaces, such the Tazra, with the three medallions and various form of earrings, khras or kbash or duach, completed by a bracelet called deblige, as we say in Moroccan language. Moroccan Jewish festivities celebrate both major Jewish holidays and unique tradition. Key holidays include the Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Hanukkah, and Passover. So a particularly vibrant tradition in Mimouna, a past Passover celebration, making in return to eating leavened bread and celebrating coexistence and good fortune. So here I talk about Mimouna festivities because it's starting in 17th. Jews visited orchards and the nightfall of the final evening of Passover, seeing a blessing for the trees and reciting passages for the Mishnah and Mishnah. Afterward, everyone come together at the table and a massive feast shared with the friends, family, and neighbors. Neighbors sometimes or often of times is us Muslims. Like told, they were an unofficial order to visit. So first the rabbi, then the parents, followed by important community figures, and then everyone else, strangers too, were welcome. So early the next day, some families visited the seaside and walked barefoot in the water to recognize the crossing of the Red Sea, traditionally understood to have occurred of the last day of Passover. So the ritual was followed by family picnic. As a conclusion, what I can say is that the situation of Jews differs from country to country, but the Moroccan constitution of 2011 recognizes the Hebraic contribution to national identity. So that the kingdom and its Jews also are committed to preserving. His Majesty King Mohammed VI launched the project for a museum of Jewish culture in Fez in 2019, and dozen synagogues are being restored and new ones are being built in Tangier, Marrakesh, Fez, and Al Jadida too. Finally, a call in civil society to teach Hebrew alongside the Amazigh demonstrates that the 3,000 Moroccan of Jewish faith remains attached to Hebrew culture. And also promoting Jewish history is passing by when Morocco opened the first museum of Jewish culture in North of Africa and over on the Arab world in Casablanca. The Moroccan government approved the creation of 3 organizations to defend Jewish faith and culture by strengthening and faith relations, promote Jewish history and culture in Morocco, and answer freedom of worship for Moroccan Jews. So restoring of Jewish sites, Morocco has also taken steps to restore synagogues, Jewish cemetery, which is an important element of its cultural heritage. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Ibtissam Haddaji, for this insightful rational lecture. The lecture introduced academic accuracy, cultural insights, and visionary thinking. Your exploration of Morocco's Jewish saints transcends historical analysis, revealing how these sacred traditions serve as living bridges between faith, communities, and sustainable future. Uh, Dr. Haddaji seamlessly wove together, I think you used anthropology, theology, and sustainable development to provide heritage preservation in both a cultural essential and an economic opportunity. The parallels you draw between Jewish and Muslim rituals challenged simplistic narratives of difference. You highlighted the Morocco's unique model of coexistence and cultural diversity. Beyond theory, Dr. Haddaji offered concrete strategies from community-based tourism to storytelling or to portraying the diversity of the Moroccan culture that could turn sacred sites into engines of sustainable development. Dr. Haddaji didn't just speak about Moroccan Jewish heritage, but also embedded its spirit of flexibility and dialogue. Uh, Now let's move to the discussion. If uh, I have some questions here for, given the sensitivity and the sensitive nature of the interface research, what were the biggest challenges that you faced when you document shared Jewish Muslim rituals, and how did you navigate them?
Your question is about when I prepare my thesis or when I finish it.
During
How
collecting the
how can
data
I
and trying to write.
during? Yeah, okay, okay. I was not lucky because when I began my thesis, it was a coronavirus, and
Yeah,
it was so difficult for me to have or to discuss with the Jewish community. Because it's too hard in this time. You know, people are close at home, and there is no rituals. There is um, no program because I have my subjects of my doctorate is about the Hilula. And as I said, Hilula is religious events when people or Jewish come with the Muslims also, they are invited to participate in this event. But after I did my work, yes, it was very difficult because uh, the community or the Jewish right now living in Morocco are a few of them, and for the tourists who come in, there is. Sometimes I found, or my questions to them is different from Jewish who come from country to another country. For example, I know that the Jewish or the Jews, Moroccan Jews in general, they never forget Morocco. They never forget the events in Morocco, existence that have been in between them and the Muslims. But when they quit or when different for then the culture that they have lived in Morocco. So it's very, I was surprised, really, I was surprised by the way that the Jews or the Moroccan Jews save in this day, save the same rights, the same tradition, you know. And as a researcher, I ask myself about how come this Moroccan Jews, whatever they are, whatever country they live, they save and they stay with the same tradition or the same Moroccan authentic tradition. It's, it's something that surprised me.
Thank you for your ideas. I have here a question that was written by Nabila. What do you think makes it possible for Jews and Muslims to live peacefully together in Morocco?
Sure. Yes.
Do you think that there are specific or there are things that are special in Morocco that facilitates this coexistence?
Yes, of course, it is. And it's, as I said in my presentation, it's also about the Moroccan government who launched a lot of projects to restore Jewish cities and synagogues and Jewish cemeteries also. So all these projects for restore or to save the heritage or Jewish heritage or Moroccan Jewish heritage is for that cause, in order to make a peace and to say to the over the Arab world that the Moroccan is an exception country.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Thank you. In your experience organizing Hilulot pilgrimages, what uh, practical strategies have proven most effective for engaging younger generations in these traditions? Is there an engagement of young generations
Yes.
in Hilulot?
Yes, of course, I think so because right now we have a social media for a new generation, especially they use a social media and in the social media, and also when we talk with artificial intelligence, for example, uh, the next or the future generation has used it that way in order to know the identity, to know the heritage, to know the culture of Morocco in general, in the past or the present or the future. We can imagine that when we will engage this generation to make projects with us in research or in academics researchers also, they are interested in this culture. I think so. Yes, I agree.
You mentioned that the people can use social media and artificial intelligence. Don't you think that the use of virtual realities or artificial intelligence or social media can diminish the spirit of or the spiritual authenticity? The media might portray the culture differently. It's maybe it may provide illusions. Uh, Dr. Haddaji, did you hear the question? To put it differently, how much digital
Sorry,
technology?
Professor, I don't hear you because the connection
Okay, I repeat. You mentioned social media and you mentioned also artificial intelligence. Don't you think that the virtual reality sometimes is
yes.
different from the real reality or the what is on the ground? So don't you think that this use of social media and artificial intelligence may diminish the spirit of authenticity of the culture?
Okay, it's a good question, but it means like I have to say if I'm okay or if I'm with to use in that way or no. It's not because we know that I talk about that or I mentioned that about the future or the new generation. The new generation is used that way. We don't have a choice. It's the reality, but it's not the way to or the right way to know the reality in the same time. You know, for example, me, I prefer personally to read the books and to when we look about or to search about the truth, we have to read read the books and to read articles, scientific articles or researchers or academics jobs in order to just the way it's just a way to have this information. That's all.
Okay,
But
thank you
it's
so
not
much.
the
Yeah, it seems that you have some issues there's some issues in the internet. Okay, so what?
Yes, Professor. Do you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, I hear you now. What would you recommend to prevent the commercialization of sacred sites from undermining their cultural significance? For example, these cultural sites which are used in tourism, how can are there any recommendation that you can provide in order to save these sites from the change or from being destroyed?
Yes, yes, of course. For example, me, I participate in 2023 in Helula, in my city, Safi. 3 or 4 groups coming to see the Benzmiro site. So the Benzmiro site is Jewish, 7 brothers, a saint, Jewish saint, who is here in Safi. They are famous in Safi. And when I participate in these events, I meet for the first time Jewish who come from Safi, okay? And it was for me a pleasure, okay? But it was for me also an occasion to discover how it was in the past Jewish culture in my city, because right now in Safi there is no Jewish, okay? So I think that we have to make efforts together, not by only one. I think that the president also of the communities in Casablanca, in Marrakesh, and Agadir, and etc., doing also a lot of projects together, and they invite Muslims responsibles in order to participate in these events and in these projects. So I think that when we must promote this product or products, like, for example, Hilula, as I work for it, I consider Hilula, for example, as a religious tourism. Okay, so when we talk about religious tourism, it's another level, another way to see, not development tourism, not durable tourism, but we talk about sustainable development. And in order to make or to realize this sustainable development, we have to work together, and all the responsibles also in the culture, in the history, anthropology, ethnology, sociology, together in order to make the result positive.
Yeah, indeed. Saving the culture is a multidimensional object. It needs the collaboration between several actors, including Muslims and Jewish, and also researchers, policymakers, as you said. Media also may help in valorizing this cultural diversity and refining the perceptions of the whole society as well. Uh, how does Morocco's model of Jewish and Muslim coexistence compare to other interfaith contexts you have encountered globally?
Sorry, I don't hear your
Are there
question as well.
there? Okay, I put
What's
it
your question?
different way. are there any differences between the Moroccan model of Jewish-Muslim coexistence and those types of coexistence in foreign countries or in other countries, including the Arab countries?
Well, I can't. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I understand your question. I can't do comparison between two models because I just have been interested in my country in the first. Okay, as I live in Morocco, but I read some books about other countries who have been there is an heritage or Jewish heritage there, like Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia, all the north of Africa. But I think Morocco is the best one. Why? It's not because I'm Moroccan, I say that, but uh, because Morocco is one country, as we say in Hebrew, Bizrat Hashem or Baruch Hashem is means thanks God, as we say in English, thanks God. Our country is one country with stabilizations, political stabilization, okay? And also Morocco is one country who is for strategy positions as well with Europe and America, US, and Latin America and other countries, Arab countries, is one point of civilizations, is one point of all the peace of all languages and cultures. It's in the past, it have been there, and also in the present. So we cannot change that image of our country. That's why Moroccan is an exception for over the Arabic countries.
Yeah, indeed. Morocco is a unique country with its culture, its religious coexistence, and it's unique in all fields. Okay, are there any recommendations that you provide to researchers who want to make research related to Jewish culture in Morocco?
Yes, in my experience, my own experience, I recommend them to be patient and to have a passion for what they do in order, for example, when I was just to make my projects for my thesis in the first time, I remember it's like yesterday, the professor said to me, why you choose these subjects? And imagine this question is easy, but maybe the answer is not. So I think that when we like something, we have to do it as we imagine that it will be. So be patient, and you have to like what you do, and go on and never give up.
Yeah, that's. So, are there any untapped research opportunities? Is there any topic that you think it needs research and related to this, to the culture, to Jewish culture in Morocco?
Yes,
Could you give us
yes, yes,
an
yes. A
example?
lot of topics are seen on my mind. For example, mysticism. I write my thesis. Yes, mysticism, Jewish mysticism or Moroccan Jewish mysticism is something for me, especially Kabbalah, very, very, very warm, very interesting because it's a rich and it's a special. Because the Hachamin or the Rabbanin here in Morocco was the great one in over the world, and as Hassan II, soul of his soul, said they were very clever and very intelligent in the past, and also very
It seems that
Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah,
Some
I
traps
didn't
in the
hear your
connection.
answer, but yeah, I have some issues. So, what I want to ask you about: are there any differences in, or how do you see the status of women in the Moroccan culture compared to Jewish culture? Since you have encountered some experiences within the
It depends
Jewish
in
community.
which way that you want to say. For example, in general case, in general,
Yeah, generally, in general, just in general, just your opinion about that.
in general, it's not just a religious case. I think. Yeah. Yes. Your question is about a Jewish woman and a Muslim woman. Yeah.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Is that your question?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. I don't have make a study. Yeah. Okay. I don't have make studies about that, but it's depend of the situation. I can't say this one is better, this one is not.
No,
It's
no,
depend
no.
of the situation. If it's that religious situation, or
Okay. If you could implement one policy change to better support the Morocco's Jewish heritage preservation, what would it be?
mhm. Moroccan Jewish heritage.
Dr. Haji, have you heard the question, the last one?
No, no, I didn't. Can you repeat,
Okay, I
please?
repeat. If you could implement one policy change to better support Morocco's Jewish heritage preservation, what would it be and why?
Wow, big question. Um,
Imagine you are a policy.
okay. For example, in order to yes, yes, I don't like to talk about political cases, but as a researcher, I think that we have to be or to have the chokhmah, as we say in Hebrew. It means to have the clairvoyance for everything, to not use only our faith or our emotion in order to judge in the situation. I think that we have to read, to know the historical case of the situation before to give any judgment about it in general.
Okay,
In
thank you.
spite of, I don't think that researcher have any ideology or any religious apartments in order to single, and we have to have a singular or similar is the same case, or and the other is rational opinion about any situation.
Yeah, indeed, I do. I agree with you. I think, as you said, researchers should be objective and they might provide some scientific facts that may facilitate the politicians and other researchers. Okay, let me put it differently. I think that the research that the researcher produces might help other researchers to work on the different topics and to find solutions in order to invest these scientific articles and so on. Also, policy or decision makers may get several ideas from the articles, dissertations, and so on, in order to just implement the recommendations that we as researchers might get or achieve. So, any final words before we close this lecture or end this lecture?
Okay. Final countdown, do you mean? Okay, the final countdown. Okay. I hope that Morocco will stay all the time the singular and the very important Arab country who save the Jewish or Moroccan Jewish heritage forever. And I hope peace for all the world, in order that Moroccan Jews all over the world, because they are not just living in Morocco, they live also in other countries, come back again in Morocco, come back not just in order to visit the religious sites of their for example, what they buy, or to make a business, but they have to come back in order to research and again to come back to the source, to the history, the authentic history that we live. Because when we come back in our countries, it's not the same that when we leave it. And I think also that many of researchers will be done about this topic, because it's very important to make coexistence and to make peace between and over the cultures in Morocco, as an example for the others Arab countries for all the time, not only present or in the past, for all the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
تفضل
Thank you,
غبا.
Dr.
إلي برو.
Thank you, Dr. Haddaji. Thank you for this enriching lecture. Special thanks also goes to our distinguished administrative staff or supervisors, Dr. Marwan Sakran, Dr. Safiya Kassas, Dr. Abdelfatah Bitwati, and Professor Yassin Jamal Idrisi for their contributions, as well as to Professor Abdelfatah Abidi for documenting this session. Thank you all the attendees that were engaging with us in the live chat, and have a safe evening, everyone. Goodbye.